So today I'm going to show you how I grow my fodder for my chickens. I am going ahead and bringing them a tray today. It's kind of a chilly day. We are actually warming up from the Arctic blast that came through, what was it, a couple weeks ago. Super cold. It's also the end of January, so there isn't a whole lot of vegetation that is growing right now. And in addition to their food that I feed them and some mealworms, I thought maybe this might be a nice treat for them. Before I feed them their fodder, I wanted to show you real quick, in a previous video that I did, which I can link that below, I showed you the whole tour of the coop and how I have it all set up. I'm not an expert by any means, but this is what's worked for me for the last several years. Anyways, this is a heating plate that I bought. This is only pulled out during the winter time. And then this is a separate watering unit that just sets on the heating plate. And it's just warm enough to keep the water from freezing, which is perfect in the wintertime. Once there's no chance of freezes, then we'll go back to using this plastic container. And yes, I know I probably should have pulled that in. I pulled the other one inside, but hopefully it's still in working order. All right, so I'm gonna get the chickens out and show you how much they enjoy their treat. And if you watched that previous video, you'll see the reason why I put them in, and it's mainly because of Jules. But I do not want them coming out today, so I'm just kind of pushing them back. So the tray that I use, you can see this is all the roots. I will just pull the fodder right out of this tray and break it into pieces and place them out here for the chickens to snack on. So let me do that real quick because I only got 2 hands. I went ahead and I pulled up, I know some of the seeds, it didn't look like it germinated, but I will explain why later when I show you the fodder setup and getting it prepped for growing. So that root system really grows inside those little squares here. Now, of course, you can use any kind of tray you want. I just happened to buy these. They were convenient and it really helps aid in the drainage because you do not want your seeds setting in water when you're trying to grow fodder. Otherwise, they might mold. If they mold, you cannot give them to your chickens. All right, so this is broken up pretty well. So they'll have the seeds and the grass for treats. So let me get that inside the coop and let's see how well they like it. Okay, so I just kind of threw them around in clumps and they love it. So while they're enjoying their treats, I'm going to go back in and show you how I am going to prep and get another tray going. Oh, and one more thing before I go in, I'm going to go ahead and fill up their feeders while I'm out here. So this little top layer here, probably about maybe, I don't know, a half cup to a cup. These are mealworms. Mealworms are very good for the chickens. It gives them added protein. And I really believe, I firmly believe that it has really helped with the egg production because I hadn't been feeding them the mealworms throughout the winter until just maybe a couple weeks ago. I came out a couple days later and there were like 5 eggs in their nesting box when I wasn't getting any. So, and this is still in the middle of winter. Now, there's all different types of mealworm snacks out there for chickens. You can even grow your own if you would like. That's something I've thought about, but I'm not sure if I'm going to start a mealworm farm or not. Time will tell with that. But anyways, I just top it off because when I pour it in, they will get a little bit with the rest of their feed. But I am going to go ahead and fill their feeders here and here, and then I'll head in and start on the fodder. So I am back in the house, and what I'm going to show you is my process, how I grow fodder. I know that there are many different ways to do it, and like I said, You don't have to use the trays that I'm using. I bought these off of Amazon. Maybe I'll go ahead and link it down below. I've seen people use all kinds of creative containers to grow fodder in. The key is you just have to make sure that there are the drain holes. What I do, I bought a couple of different seeds. This one happens to be oats. Now, just to let you know, the oats that I bought, it is actually over a year old. And I do have some other seeds that I haven't opened up yet either. Now the reason why I tell you it's over a year old is because when I show you the rest of the fodder, you'll see not all the seeds germinated, but a lot of them did. Just like you saw in the tray when I went to feed the chickens. But I'm gonna show you, this is a 1 quart mason jar. I went ahead and I soaked these seeds overnight. So I'm gonna show you what I do with these now that they've soaked for about 24 hours. I'm just gonna remove this. I'll remove the lid. And I have a piece of cheesecloth here, and I'm just going to have that on there. And I'm gonna drain it. So that's the reason why I have the cheesecloth on there, is because I don't want the seeds to go down the drain. And I'll show you how I prep the seeds for overnight soaking in just a second. So then after that, I just, some of the seeds might stick to the cheesecloth, but then I just take it and I add it to the tray, and I go in and just make sure I get all those seeds out. And then I'm just gonna evenly spread this on the tray. So by soaking the seeds, it helps soften the exterior of the seed, which should help it germinate faster. Now, normally if you have fresh seeds, normally it will start germinating within a matter of just a couple of days. And I can usually have the trays growing when I do grow them, where it is, every day. Once it gets to a certain point, fodder size, I can go out and feed the chickens. And the next day, if I wanted to feed them, it would, be at the correct height. But like I said, these seeds are a little old, so they just weren't germinating as fast. But they did, so that's a good thing. All right, so that's about even. Now I'm gonna show you where I store this in my grow room. Okay, so I have my tray. I'm just gonna pop it under my lights. This is my setup for my grow station whenever I germinate seeds, which I will be doing that soon for my spring and summer and fall gardens. So I'll show you all that whenever it gets to the point of me germinating the seeds for my garden. In the meantime, I'm growing the fodder for the chickens. And now I will be adding a date to this tray so that I know when I put the seeds in. But if you come take a look, so today's date is, I believe it's the 29th of January. As you can see, this should have been way taller than what it is. I started this on the 16th, but at least it still grew. So I will be giving these to the chickens probably tomorrow. This one I started on the 17th, and you can see how nice and thick all of that fodder is. And if you look, there's all the roots. So what I will do is I will come in here and every day I will come and soak. I'll show you how I soak. I'm going to show you what I do with these seeds. As you notice, there's still a lot of them that haven't germinated yet, and I'll show you what I do with that. When the fodder gets to this size, and I know there's roots underneath there, I just go ahead and pour water in the tray here and let the water get soaked up that way. So I'm gonna leave this here. I'll be adding a date to it, and I will show you what I do with this in the kitchen, and then I will show you how I prep the seeds for the next day. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna carefully pour this in the tray until it completely covers the seeds, because again, I want them to continue to soak so that they can germinate. So I will keep doing that, and I'll show you what it looks like at that point. As you can see, the seeds that haven't started rooting yet, they're kind of floating. So, and that's fine. These are older seeds, so I'm just pushing it a little bit more to get it to germinate and gain their roots. In order to prep the seeds for the next go around for a new tray, I am going to add water, probably about half full, in this jar. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this out real quick before I add water to the jar. I'm just going to get my water from the refrigerator, and then I'm going to heat it up in the microwave until it's a little, not hot, but just slightly warm, a little warmer than room temperature. So I microwave the water. It's just a little warmer than lukewarm water. And the reason why I use the refrigerator water is because it's filtered water. Some people might say it's totally fine out of the sink, which that's, it's whatever you would like to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a teaspoon or a little less of vinegar. This is just regular vinegar. Didn't use vinegar with the mother. You probably can, no big deal. The reason why I do this is because it will help prevent molding or any other issues with seeds, to try to keep it as healthy as possible. And it's not gonna hurt your chickens at all. As a matter of fact, I do use vinegar in their water, especially when it gets warmer out. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the seeds. This is a 1 cup. And this is where I use my solid lid. And then I just kind of shake it up. I will add my cheesecloth back on there. I did wash this, so it is clean from the last time. And I just am putting this on here just to help air it out. So what I do is I leave this on the counter for about 24 hours and I repeat the process of what I just did with the tray when I added it to the grow room. Well, let me know in the comments below if you've ever grown fodder, and if it was different than this. Let me know how you did it differently and how well it worked for you. I might try it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I have a couple of videos that are coming up in the future, hopefully the near future. I just bought some vanilla beans. These are the Madagascar vanilla beans. I also ordered some Tahitian vanilla beans, and I'm gonna be making my own vanilla extract so I can not only use it for myself, but also provide it for Christmas gifts next year. I also have a project in the works inside the house where I'm going to be remodeling my laundry room and the hallway right off of the laundry room. And within a month or so, it's going to be time to start growing some plants. So I will be germinating some seeds. Some of them are the seeds that I've saved. Some of them I have purchased. And some of them I'm saved not only from my garden, but also from the store. So I hope you stick with me. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and until next time.